Next up, Supervisor ID. Here at BYU, we have an Office of Information Technology, and one of their core tasks is to ensure internet safety and security for campus workings. That means your supervisor at your internship agency will need to obtain a MyBYU ID. That ID is what they will use to log into forms, complete your evaluation, and access additional forms for future students. So they need to keep that ID safe and secure. How do they get a MyBYU ID? On the BYU homepage, they simply go to the upper right, My BYU, and click that, and it would say start or enter the BYU security system. They will enter their full name, their date of birth. It does ask for a social security number. People don't like to share their social security numbers, as you can imagine, and that's okay. They need a unique identifier associated with that person's name, so the birth date will suffice. If they don't want to share their social security number, they don't have to, but they would have to choose one or the other. Birth date will work. And then they're given a generated BYU ID. That's what's going to allow them to access your forms for both approval and final evaluation. There's a couple important things here. Number one, as I stated, they need to keep that safe or somewhere in their password so they can remember. When supervisors change, say you're in an internship and your supervisor changes, we would need to change that net ID to the new person. And that could happen, say your supervisor's on maternity leave, or you switch supervisors, or your supervisor left the agency and a new one steps in. So our records need to stay updated. The second important key is it is your task and responsibility to help your supervisor set up their BYU ID if they don't have one. You don't need to know their password, but you would need to know their ID. Why do you need to know their ID? When you start your internship with the forms, it's Form A, you will enter your supervisor's net ID in that first form, not their password, just their net ID. So sitting down, expressing gratitude, thank you for letting me intern here. Let's outline my major tasks and projects, and let me help you set up a BYU, My BYU ID. You having some institutional knowledge will help them feel secure and safe. When problems arise, they can call OIT at 801-422-4000, you know the number, and they'll ask, what is your net ID? And they'll have that. So all forms on our website are running with the security of OIT, and that is the main reason that supervisors need to have a MyBYU ID. And just let me emphasize one more time, you will need to know that supervisor ID, BYU ID, before you start approvals on your forms. Okay, any questions or concerns, always come to me, come to my TAs, call, email, text. We can meet in person or we can meet on Zoom. Have a good day.